Yes.
What about Thursday?
What's Thursday?
You have changed from 11:20?
No. What?
Thursday.
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Your birthday.
My birthday. Wrong part of the year. Okay. The Rebbe is on Ledodi, Melukat Chelik Dalet, page Shin Samach Zayin at the bottom of the page. Okay, the last thing is, the Rebbe is explaining by revealing the Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim to awaken the Jew, that shows that this reveals in the Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim a level it didn't have before. Because everything, even the higher emanations of godliness, is all for the Yid. So until Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim accomplishes something in the Yidden, it's just a revelation. But when it accomplishes and stimulates the Jews, which means that is the ultimate purpose of the existence of Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, is to awaken the Jew, so then the Jew becomes even greater. And like he quotes the pasuk, the Melech L'Soda Neva, the king is bound to the field because the field gives him sustenance, and there's a higher level of Melech that's connected to the Soda. So he says, when is the ultimate greatness of the king? When he is existing from the field, meaning he comes down to the level of the field, that gives him to exist. So he says now like this, 5 lines to the end of the page. Based on what it says in the Zohar, is Soda, is Soda. There's Soda of Kedusha and Soda of Le'umazah. We know when Yaakov took the brachas from Esav, Yitzchak says to him, Rei re'eyach b'ni, kereach hasoda asher berachi Hashem. And Rashi says, what did he smell? When Yaakov Avinu came in, he smelled Gan Eden came in with him. So you have the level of Soda of Gan Eden, of Kedusha, and then you have Esav Ish Soda. Then you have the level of Esav, which is a field, right? So which is a field of Klipa. So he says, Yesh Leimad, the Inyan Melech L'Soda Neva, this level of the king is bound to the field. Shai de Yurid of Amshach L'Soda, by the king coming down into the field. Nase Elul b'Melech Lo becomes an elevation in the king above, meaning Hu be'ikar Shai de Gilu Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim Shalamayla. Mishtalshlis, by revealing the Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, which is above worlds, which is the general level of Melech Lo, higher than Ishtal, higher than the worlds is Kedusha, is Gam Li Yisrael Nimtzoim Bamidbar, Soda of Le'umazeh. In other words, like this, just like a field elevates the king, he's saying even the Soda of Klipa, the Soda of evil, meaning the Jew who finds himself in the Midbar, which is Soda of Klipa, that causes an elevation in the level of the king itself. Because that shows, why is it the king greater? Because even the lowest of the lowest subjects, i.e. in Yiddishkeit, the Jews that find themselves in the Midbar, are also coming to see the king. That means the king is not only the king over those that are openly bottled to him, but even over the rebellious people, the king is a king. That brings out a greater level in the king.
And they accept him as the king.
Yeah, they go out to meet him. Yes.
Does the field have the Klipa?
Field? Soda, it could be Esav. It could be a field of Klipa. In last week's Parsha, at the end of the Parsha it says, a guy finds his girl and he rapes her. If it's in the field, in the city, all the psukim over there. So it says, while in the field represents the level of evil. Hefker. But you can have Soda of Kedusha. You can have Gan Eden is called Soda. Like we said, Yitzchak said to Yaakov, Kereach HaSoda asher berachi Hashem, it's like the smell of the field that God blessed, which is Gan Eden, that's Kedusha. So you have Soda, in everything that exists in Kedusha, you have an evil. Okay? You have a level, even Midbar. You have a level, a Midbar of evil, and then you have Midbar from the word Medaber, which is the highest faculty, a person. So you have Kedusha, everything in the world is Kedusha and good and bad. There's Soda in Kedusha, there's Soda in evil. There's midbar in Kedusha, there's midbar in evil. There's melech in Kedusha, there's melech in evil. There's everything like that. He says, this reveals the essential level of the will of the Jew. And he goes out of the desert Sada, the Sada, the Kedusha, to the field of Kedusha, So the Rebbe is saying what happens in the month of Elul, essentially, that the Jews on the lowest of the lowest levels are coming to accept the king. And he says, he says, through the level of tshuva v'yid, that the Jew was the ultimate distance, because he sinned, Mizgala Yesapnimius, the Yisrael, this level of Melech Basada, stimulating the Jew to come meet the king, meaning to do tshuva, reveals more so the essential level of the Jew, that Gam B'Shas Achet, even at the time of the sin, who Balukus is connected to Lukus, Raksha Yitzim who should talk from. But like the Rambam says, only the Yetzer Hara is causing them to go against their natural will of Hashem. In other words, the Rebbe is saying like this: where is the ultimate greatness and uniqueness of the Jew revealed? When a far Jew comes close. Because that shows that even while he's sinning, he's still connected. Like the Gemara says, Afal pi shechata Yisraelhu. Even when he sins, and Chassidus explains, it doesn't say Bnei Yaakov who Yisrael is Sar Kel. That means what is dominating the person? Sar Kel. What's the Sar, like you learned in the whole Maamar? The level of Kel. Yud Gimel Midas Rachmi. That means, what is the concept of Melech Basada in the Elul show? That a Jew, no matter how far they are from Hashem, in essence, and like he uses the expression, it's only Yetzer Hara is talk from. It's only Yetzer Hara stopping them. And what does Elul do? It just removes, again, the blockage. Like the Rambam says, you beat him up until, he says, I want. And the Rambam explains why, he says, I want. The Gemara says that certain things have to be willingly. Mush over there, the Rambam talks about a get. If a husband wants to divorce his wife, he has to give a get willingly. What happens if the guy doesn't want to give it? So the Gemara says, Bezdin beats him up until he says, I want to. So the Rambam asks the question basically, what type of will is that? I don't want to do it. You're beating me up. I don't want to get beat up. I don't want to do it. Right? So the Rambam explains that the Jew really does want to do it. Deep down, the essence of the Jew wants to do it. There's a blockage called the Yetzer Hara. So when you beat up the Yetzer Hara and the Jew says, I want to do it, that's the real Jew. And that is revealed more when the king comes out to the field and the midbar, that the Jews who are in midbar, not only Sada, midbar, are now coming close to the Jew. So what does that show? That reveals the ultimate greatness of Hashem. And he says, Kapirish at Tzemach Tzedek, the Tzemach Tzedek says on the pasuk we just quoted, Ki basada mitzah, the Torah says like this: if a girl, God forbid, was raped in a field, we can assume she screamed and nobody heard her. Okay, therefore you can't blame her. You can assume she was forced. In the city, it's not necessarily. Okay, so the Tzemach Tzedek says on what does the pasuk say? Ki basada mitzah. The man, the rapist, found her in the field. Tzaka anaira, the girl screamed out, Vein Meshiala. And nobody saved her. That's the simple meaning of the pasuk. So he says, the Tzemach Tzedek says, what does it mean according to Chassidus? Gam kshanayrid neshama b'sad d'lumazeh, that even if the neshama is in the sada of Esav, she's being defiled. V'yasei the mizu. Shazeh Garam Sha'es of each Sada. Hichzik Baba Shachavima, that Esav took control over her. The Yetzer Hara took control of her and defiled her. Hine Gam Oz, even then. Haratz and the Neshama B'Kedusha. She's screaming, I don't want to be defiled. V'ta'ek is b'mar nafsha. Al zeh she'asu ish saw the Esav ish saw the machzeba. That Esav, the man of the field, is defiling her, and then it says ein meshiala. Simply means nobody's helping her. Here the Tzemach Tzedek says ayin meshiala. The level of ayin, meaning the level higher than world, Me'ayin Yaviyezi, Ein Mazel Yisrael, all these things. Meshiala shenim shech Yeshua. It comes to her, the salvation, Mibchinas ayin shelamayla mishtalshus, from the level of ayin, which is higher than world. In other words, Tzemach Tzedek is explaining this exact concept that we're learning over here. The Melech Basada is the ayin, so to speak, higher than Ishtalshus, Yud Gimel Midas Sarachim, that's coming down into the midbar, into the Sada of Esav, of Klippa, and he's awakening the Jew to remove by how? By removing the blockage that's blocking it, i.e. the Yetzer Hara or whatever it may be, because even then the essence of the Jew is really only wants to do good. And the Kivan Shigilu Rotzen Aprimi di Yisrael, and this ultimate essence of the Jew, Shemitzat Shoshim Ha'atzmos, where is this? Aidei Tshuva, only through the level of Tshuva.
Hashem removes the blockage?
Yes.
So he's helping from Shamayim?
No, he's not stimulating the Jew. That's what the Rebbe explained to Maamar. He's opening the door and saying, you have I'm giving you the opportunity to do it. I'm taking off the blockage. You want to come? You can come. You don't want to come?
The blockage is off. What is somebody to come?
Let me ask you a question. Elul, the blockage is off. Why do we still look like the way we do? Blockage is off. We should be Chuvila. Because Hashem takes off the blockage. He says, but you got to still go out to the field to meet me. There's nothing stopping you, me, him, her, to go out to meet the king.
Blockage is off, but we still have to the field.
Blockage is off. The door is open, but you got to open the door. The lock is taken off. Yeah? But you still got to open the door.
Go to the wedding.
You might get a thing to win the lottery, but you still got to buy a ticket.
No, but there's no rush through. You have all incentives to do the right thing.
But the Rosh Tus is very powerful, that blocks even that. In one of the Basi Lagani Yud Gimel, the Rebbe writes that the Rosh Tus only covers the original Basi Lagani. Rosh Tus affects only Machshava Dibur U'Maisa, not the essence. Remember, therefore the essence is always good. So the Rebbe speaks about the Rosh Tus covering, and he says, therefore, when it push comes to shove, with Avodah Zarah, a Jew will be ready to give up his life. So the Rebbe said, I will find Jews that do worship idols. The answer is, the Rebbe explains, the Ruach Shtus covers, sometimes it's so powerful, it covers even the level that it says it can't cover.
Even the essence.
Yeah. But again, it's only covering it, not removing it. Temporary insanity. לכן, אילו שנעשה ביד גמל מידס רחמים, עידי ירידות זמן שחסל למטה. Le'eres Adam, to awaken the person, is be'ik aidei shema'erin eselu. What is the primary purpose of Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim? To awaken those shayu b'tachas sedichos, the ultimate distance from Hashem. So now he says in Ches, Zeh ani Ledodi Vedodi l'Rosh Tevis Elul, which is the Rosh Tevis Elul. So he said, Yishleimar Shadei Li Sheberosh Tevis Elul. But remember at the beginning of the Maamar, the Rebbe asked, but Elul is Rosh Tevis ani Ledodi Vedodi Li. But L'chayr Ledodi Li is Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. So he says, that day dili of Rosh Tevis Elul koi be'ikar al gili du yud gimel midas rachma of Elul. It's taka Elul. What is it referring to? The day dili of Elul, the revelation of yud gimel midas rachma that stimulates the person. Then it should be l'chayr day dili and then vanilai in Elul. He said v'zeh shenama day dili after anila daidi. If l'chayra the gilu yud gimel midas rachma she'elul is allows you to do the anila daidi, he says ki primis onyonim, because in essence anila daidi avedis ha'adam is l'mayla midaidi li gilu m'mayla. He says like this, really the daidi li, the awake, the melech coming out into the field is what stimulates the anila daidi. In Elul, not Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. The revelation Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim in Elul is the daidi of Elul. I should say daidi of anilai. He says, yeah, in essence, yeah. But what's the primary thing? The revelation from above or our Aveda. The purpose of the revelation from above is because of that we should do anila daidi. We should come close. Yeah? So therefore, anila daidi is the ultimate. It's the ultimate. In fact, the Rebbe explains this interestingly. You know, it says about before Matan Torah, there was a gzeira. There was a gzeira that Al Yainim cannot go. Spiritual can't come down. The physical. Okay, then said, I'm going to break it. Ani Amask. Then it says, "Al Moshe Amar Alei Al Hashem." Yeah. What happened first? Hashem came down on the mountain. But the ultimate is not a revelation from above. The ultimate is Al Moshe Amar Alei Al Hakim. The ultimate is for the Jew to become close to Hashem. Why? Because then we did it, not Hashem. Dir b'tachteinim is the purpose of creation is we should come close to Hashem. Yeah, we need the help of Hashem, and that is the what Vayikra Moshe, right? But ultimately, it's Adam Ki Yaakov. The ultimate avodah is anila daidi. So the Rebbe said like this: what's anila daidi? Even though daidi li is the melech basada yugimul midas rachmim velul, he says yes. The ultimate pasuk says as avodah anila daidi. How? Through the daidi li. But that's all in Elul. What? No, but the Rebbe explained daidi li is yugimul midas rachmim velul, not Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. That's another daidi li. Different one. What?
They couldn't do it. They asked Moshe to come. Still. So do we need Moshe for Elul too?
He makes Rabbeinu for everything. Who makes the Jew aware that the king is in the field? Who makes the Jew aware that Hashem's in the field? It's Moshe Rabbeinu. Awakening. That was his. You know that we learned it at the top. Moshe Rabbeinu awakens in the Jew those levels that the Jew needs. The purpose of the intent of revelation is to awaken the Aved of the Jew. And that, like he said before, makes you Gimel Mitzrachim greater. Why? There's two aspects. Number one, the Rebbe said in the last paragraph, that the purpose of Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim, why is it Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim revealed? To awaken the Jew. So mission accomplished. So now the Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim have mission accomplished. So they become greater. But also, Va'ilui, Shenasei, they say this tshuva adam b'peil. And the second thing is the way the person becomes elevated by coming to meet the king. And even in the person's level, there's two things. In other words, even in the Jews Aveda, there's two levels, the Rebbe says. There's the Tainug that Hashem stimulates the Jew, Mumayla, and then there's a level, he says, that the Jew himself awaken. Remember he said before, there's a level of the essence of the Jew which is even higher than Tshuva. Tshuva awakens within the Jew a deeper level of connection to Hashem which is even higher than Tshuva. In other words, the order of the day, Hashem stimulates us to do Tshuva, to reveal our essence that knows we're too far, we need to be reconnected. So that awakens us to do Tshuva. So awakens our essence to do Tshuva, but that's an awakening that Hashem is awakening from above. But that causes that the Jew on their own Aveda realizes they're connected to Hashem in a level even greater than Tshuva connection. The Sheirish HaNeshamas L'mayra M'Sheirish M'Teira Mitzvahs Gami Mitzvahs HaTshuva. And that's what the Rebbe says. We know, we learned many times, what's greater, Torah or Yidden? Okay, the Medrash discusses this. So the answer is, the Medrash's final conclusion is, Jews are even greater than Torah. Because Torah says, speak to the Jews. That means there's already Jews and Torah is speaking to them, which means the neshamas are even higher than Torah. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu broke the luchis, right? Because it's either choice, Jews or Torah. So Moshe Rabbeinu said, no, neshamas are greater. So neshamas are greater than Torah mitzvahs. Here the Rebbe is saying, not only are neshamas greater than Torah, the source of neshama. It's even greater than the mitzvah of tshuva, which is higher than Torah. Tshuva is higher than Torah, we know that. Right? Tshuva, because Tshuva could take Avedis into mitzvahs. So it's even higher than Torah can't do that. Right? Like there's a famous Yerushalmi that Rebbe always quotes. They asked, what do you do if a guy that sins, punish him? Another thing says, Ish al-chayte, you must kill him. Then it says, Shalom HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They ask God, what should he do to a person who sins? He says, Yaseh tshuva yischapeli. Let him do tshuva. Torah says, let him die. Torah says, you sin, you get punished. Torah says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says tshuva. So tshuva is even higher than Torah. Here the Rebbe is explaining, through the awakening of Melo Basoda, and you awaken the level of, it becomes through tshuva, awaken within the Jew a level of connection to Hashem, which is even higher than tshuva. Because it's higher than Torah mitzvahs. That Panim Seichak is what?
It's not nefesh is higher than tshuva?
No. It is really tshuva. That aspect of tshuva. But it's, in a certain respect, it's higher. Self-sacrifice.
Purim is higher than Kippur.
Right.
Physical self-sacrifice.
There's physical, there's spiritual. For instance, you want to lay in bed and sleep, and you come to shul. That's spiritual self-sacrifice. Okay.